Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. It is Sunday, August 30th, 2020. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a confession. I'm starting a little bit late this Sunday, so you might hear the neighborhood lawnmowers and people. But I'm very pleased, very happy to be here with you, and I will try to talk over all of the activity. But bear with me, bear with me. If you're new to my podcast, thank you so much for joining me. Please be sure to check out my website at lisahop.com. That's LISAHOPP.com. It has my upcoming events, all about my books, all about my services, all about why I do what I do. So I would love for you to do that. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at serendyharbor.net. No, excuse me, Serenity Harbor at Verizon.net. Early, it's still early. Okay. And if you're coming back, thank you so much. I am so appreciative, so grateful for all of your comments. They matter so much. So this week, I actually debuted a series on my YouTube channel, which is also under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hop, and you may have found this podcast there. And it's called What Does Lisa Do? Because a lot, more than I expect a lot of the time, I have people write me and say, I know that I want to come in to see you, but I don't know what I'm looking for. And sometimes people honestly misbook. And so the idea came to me to perhaps do a little mini series, like mini episodes of explaining each thing that I do, to help people to perhaps discern what it is they are looking for. And so I hope that you will check that out on my YouTube channel. I'd be very grateful. And if you do like it, please share, like, comment. Do that because by sharing, you serve, you help others that may benefit from coming to an event or a private appointment at my office. Now, private appointments are generally most of the time available by in-office, telephone, and Zoom. So there's some things that have to be done in person, um, or are preferred in person, such as hypnosis, but hypnosis can also be done by Zoom. But please check out the website. And once again, if you have any questions, email me at serendyharbor@verizon.net. So what a week. What a week. I actually feel like the topic of my podcast was kind of like doing a crash study for a test. I'll admit to you, a bit panicked this morning. I had no idea what I was going to talk to all of you about. There's many things swirling in my head to talk about, but what was the best thing to talk about? And so I finally narrowed it down to persistence versus resistance. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, in this case, with the week that has happened, persistence is better. And I'll explain why. So this week, on a national scale, it was a very negative week. I think it was just like a base week, a base root week of anger and hatred and negativity and lies and divisiveness and the base of a person, like the darkest shadow kind of week. On a personal note, this week was a challenging week for me. I don't mind sharing. Because I was greatly tested this week in that I have been studying a modality for a long time now, months. And this week was the week to take a test to become certified in that modality. And I have been doing that modality with great success with my clients. I feel it's a natural part of my gifts. It's very intuitive for me. I'm naturally aligned with it. I was drawn to it because it's a natural fit. We all have our natural gifts, and I was drawn to it because I was confident it was one of mine. And all of the success that I've had has shown me that I'm correct. So I go to take the test. I am confident. I am calm. I am happy. And the result comes back, and I miss passing the test by 4 points, which is basically 2 questions, maybe 4 questions, depending on how many points you get for each question. You either get 1, 2, or 3 points. And I am despondent. I am devastated. I don't know what to do. It was the worst feeling. It was, I don't think I've ever been in this place in decades where I had no answer. I was like, what do I do? I gave it everything. I stand by everything I submitted. I know there has to be a lesson here, but I can't even imagine what the lesson is. I spent a day in utter grief about it. My first initial reaction, other than grief, and just, I want to use the word again, despondency, was to say, well, I've got to give up. I've got to give up because I don't know how to improve it. So what I did is what I have done before, and I always do, and I want to tell you this because it's so important. I persisted. I persisted. I had to step back for a little bit of time that day. I think I stepped back and let it go and detached from it for maybe only about 10 minutes. No more, really no more than that. And in that stepping back, it was my way of saying, okay, no, I'm not going to walk away from this. I'm not going to give up. I am not going to settle for this. And I don't know why this is going on, but I am not going to walk away. But I have to step back. So when I stepped back and I let it go and I put it on a shelf for just a few moments, this aha came to me. And this aha that came to me was, reach out to support. Reach out to the person who scored you and say, what can I do? Can you mentor me? Can you help me in any way? Because I'm lost. But I don't know. I don't want to walk away. I want to persist. So within the couple of hours after I decided to do that, I wrote, and I got a very quick response of, yes, let's set up a call. Let's talk. Don't give up, Lisa. Persist. You're so close. I don't mind helping you. Now this scorer, this associate, she could not give me straight answers, of course. That would be unethical. But we set up a call for the very next day, and 90 minutes, just about 90 minutes she spent going over basically every answer that was not good enough. I even teased her at the end. I said, okay, here's the last question. Because I logged the question. So I knew, and they're very happy to tell you what questions you got wrong. So I knew like what they weren't happy with. And I said, okay, here is the last question that I could not please you with. And she had to laugh. And she spent that time and she directed me with each one. She basically verbally tested me. And when I was close, she'd say, stretch it, stretch it. And when I misunderstood, she said, I understand, but you misunderstood. The question means this. Oh, okay. So without directly giving me the answers, she directed me on where to go for the answers. And she also directed just she gave me clarity. And I have to say that most of the time when I didn't get full points is it's because what they wanted was different than what I thought they wanted. It would have helped if they were a little clearer. Because sometimes they were not clear. What is this? I told them what it was. No, we don't want you to tell us a technical term. We want you to explain it to us as if you were explaining it to your client. Well, you didn't say that. And so I am now in the process of preparing the answers to just two more questions, but I effectively, unless something goes horribly wrong with the questions I got correct, excuse me, should cruise to passing, which is should have happened in the first place, but I feel much better now. And what I'm proud of and what I feel I was supposed to get off of that moment was the gift of persistence. I knew that this certification was mine. I knew it was something I am supposed to have. It was not just something I wanted to have. It's not something I needed to have either, because I've been doing it with great success. I've been getting, see, we're allowed to practice. Excuse me for my morning voice. I'm going to do a little cough. As a student, you are allowed to practice once you get later in the modules, later in the class. So I've been practicing with my clients and getting tremendous, extraordinary results. Wonderful testimonials. Even the day that I didn't pass the test, I got a testimonial of how I had changed. Well, a client and I, through this modality, had brought change for the better, tremendous, shifted, permanent change. And so it was so timely because, as I said, I was going through this. Do I persist or do I give up? And there was a testimonial right in the inbox in a perfect time. Oftentimes, we have to know, when do we persist and when do we know it's not for us? Or when do we just resist? And this was that week that tested us. If you are someone who is spiritual, if you are someone that understands the larger picture of what's going on right now in our world, in our lives personally and intimately, and in our globe as a whole, this was a rough week. There is much fear, and we cannot let fear win out. I feel personally that my win on persistence, which will eventually end up with a wonderful, near perfect, maybe perfect passing grade, my persistence will also grow me in persistence for other things. It's going to help me to tackle these upcoming times. It's going to also strengthen my impact as part of the one on the world as a whole. I had to increase what I was offering. I had to become a larger, greater part. And I grew this week. I grew. Another way I grew was when it was so easy for me this week to become scared of what the next few months mean and what the result could be. Fear over Will evil win over good? Will the worst of us win over the best of us? I said, I can't go there. I can't go there. When I would hear someone say, I have a fear of good losing, bad winning, or evil winning, I can't go there. I resist going there. I persist. I persist. 4 years ago, I also would not give up my faith in mankind, no matter what, even when the day before the election, I felt nauseous, like a great, overwhelming flu had come upon me suddenly. And I knew it was energetic. I knew it wasn't your common flu. It wasn't physical. It wasn't a virus. It was a reaction to what was coming. And it happened just within 24 hours. The decision had been made to choose the path. But even though I felt physically ill, much like my peers at the time, because a physical, by the way, physical reaction, when I get it, is my body's way of telling me what's coming. It's one of my abilities. When I get butterflies of excitement, I know there's something positive on the way, or that I should take that step, move on something. And when I get ill, nauseous, I know I should brace myself for something not good or horrible. So that's what was going on. And I knew exactly how it would go. I knew exactly what was coming. And it's the worst feeling in the world because there's nothing you can do about it except maintain who you are and maintain how you choose. You have to maintain how you act and how you choose to cope with it. I kept my hope up to the last moment. I kept my faith that everyone's highest angels would come out, that would be what would win, because good always overcomes evil. Good always wins. Good vibrations are the most powerful. They always negate negative, but we have to allow them. We have to allow them. So everybody has to be on board. At least a majority has to be on board. And for whatever reason, it was decided at that time that we're going to go with our darkest shadows. That we're going to go with the harsher path. We're going to make it rougher for ourselves. Our base emotions, our base personality, the worst of ourselves. And so that went out. But over the last 4 years, I never gave up my faith in mankind, even when it's been tested. And oh, has it been tested? I would never ever, it's so important, I would never ever give it up because we have to see the light in each other, even if it is not there. We have to see it because if you focus there, it helps to illuminate it. It helps to build it. It helps to make it brighter. It helps to make it stronger. You must always see, even if it's just a little tint, something that is the best of your fellow man. Because it brings out the strongest. It brings out the most powerful. If you only see the worst of someone, that's all you're going to get. So we have to play our part. We have to play our part to make sure that we go towards the highest vibration, that we see our highest self, that we see the light in someone as much as we possibly can. Now, sometimes someone is evil. Don't assume who I'm talking about because you cannot. Just because someone plays a huge role in growing and fermenting and being on the side of evil doesn't necessarily mean they're evil. Sometimes they just need love. Sometimes they have holes, they have voids, maybe they also need something that no one can give them because they are so damaged from their past. And we must feel compassion, but we also, have to know we have to send them love. That doesn't mean we have to be like them or join their team. But sometimes there is evil in this world. Sometimes you can see it, by the way. If you want to know, how do I know evil? Look in someone's eyes. Are they void? Is there no light? Because the eyes are the window of the soul. Are they askance? Are they dead eyes? Then they are. And it doesn't matter what they do. A person can be evil who is a holy man, who is a politician, who is a teacher, who is a doctor. I think it hits us the hardest when it's someone who is supposed to be in a position of helping us as a leader, supposed to be a moral authority. And then they do evil acts because they're evil. That one hits hard. And so, what do you do when you see evil? When you see it in the eyes of someone? Well, we should always pray for them, that they regain their soul in a humble way, in a pure way. We should also avoid them because we really can't shift them. There's just more of a supernatural thing that has to happen to shift them. But we can play our part in sending our positive light to them. Because remember, positive always overcome negative. But it is best not to become a part of their team. There are many people. It's happening right now. It is happening right now. That people join the team of those that would harm them. It happens a lot. I suppose it has happened a large way in history. During the time of Hitler, there were Jewish men who became German soldiers or Third Reich soldiers. There were European citizens that helped the Third Reich when they were invaded. You see it all the time. There's so many lessons sometimes in movies. You know, I know. We watch movies where there's a villain and there's a hero, or maybe there's a team of heroes and there's a villain or a team of villains. Do the villains ever win out? Eventually, no. There may be sequels, where the villain keeps coming back, but eventually the villain is going to be defeated. Yet, there is a human nature that people, not a large human nature, mind you, that people will join the side of the villain because they think that side's going to win. So I'm just going to join the winning team. The villain never wins. No matter what you think, no matter how it looks. So it can boggle the mind. It's like, why are you joining that which would destroy you? That wants nothing good for you. Why would you do that? Because they think it's the winning team. But how do you make that choice in life of what team to join? What team brings out the best in you? If the team makes you say awful things about your fellow man, and what I mean by that is, let me be very clear, because it's easy to be human. If the team that you are, if you're on a team that says to you, you must hate someone, you must be hateful towards them, you are better than others by the nature of the color of your skin or your economic status or something else that is not true, you're on the wrong team. If the team just brings out in you nastiness and vindictiveness and anything about yourself that you would look at the mirror and not like, you're on the wrong team. If you're a supreme leader of your team, incites that which harms another, overall, you may be on the wrong team. We must all look to each other and see the light within. We must all see each other like the angel in disguise. How do you know it's not an angel in disguise? This week, I saw some Christians posting about their excitement of the arrival of Jesus. Trumpets and flowing out from the sky and, are you ready? I'm ready. And what they do not know is heaven does not work so blatantly. They seem to know it's true that they will not know the hour or the day. And they want everybody to know that. You don't know the hour or the day, so you better be ready. They're sure they're ready. But what they do not know is that heavenly source, whether you call it God or source or force or Yahweh or whatever you would call it, creator, it is not going to be so blatant. The signs are happening all around and they're not seeing them. There have already been sounds of trumpets. There have already been arrivals from the clouds, and they missed it. They have not recognized. We must be sure to have open eyes. We also should be sure that we would recognize what we are waiting for. How do we know that this Son of God will not come in the body of an immigrant child? Or of a man standing up for equal rights at a protest? How do we know? We don't. Because that energy of God works in mysterious ways and will test us. So we must always live with humility and discernment, and from a state as much as possible of love. Be very careful, because we have all entertained angels in disguise. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. Back to the topic. Persistence. Always persist when you know it's yours. And I mean that in a larger sense. I don't mean that when there's a face to it. I don't mean that when it's necessarily a test result. But I felt this week, once I stepped back for 10 minutes, that this was a roadblock, but there was something larger going on, and it was indeed mine. I knew my calling. It was that voice deep within myself, that strong knowing in my core that this was an obstacle, but that the path was correct. When should you resist? There should be resistance, or there should be a new path. When something that is going on does not speak to you, when you're not feeling passion for something, when it is not your calling. One of the number one reasons for depression is that we're not following our heart's desire. The modality I've been studying is my heart's desire. I was just upset because somebody was telling me they weren't pleased with my result. I teased them and I said, "Why am I not good enough for you?" I knew that I was. I knew that I was. That is when you persist. Resistance is, you're going to do it, you're going to do it, you're going to do it. But suddenly you don't have the passion for it, the love for it. It's not calling to you. It has to call for you. I was watching a friend of mine last night, passionately loving selling her jewelry. And I think sometimes I could do that. I could get on there, at night once I'm done work for the day and say, "Isn't this pretty? Do you want this?" And why I don't do it, because I could do it, is because it's not my passion. It's an ability I could do, but it's not my calling. What is your calling? If it is not your calling, you should resist it. Are you at a job right now that you love or that you hate? And you probably are saying to me, "Lisa, I have a catalog of excuses of why I have to be at that job that I hate. I have to pay my mortgage or my rent. I have to put food on the table. I have to clothe. I have to pay for schooling. I understand. I'm sure you have tons of excuses, but I will tell you honestly that as long as you resist your calling, your love, your heart's desire, you will never, ever make enough money. You'll never make enough money. You will always feel that you're living day by day or month by month. You may even feel you have enough money, but you're not happy for some reason. You cannot have wealth. You cannot have health. You cannot have happiness. You cannot have love unless you are following your heart's desire. And also that you know you're worthy of it. There are so many people, by the way, who come into money and then blow it. They give it away or they blow it. You know why they do? Why they are resisting prosperity? Because they don't think they're worthy of what they have. So they give it away. I don't deserve it, they say. So resist. Resist these thoughts. Resist these feelings that you have to do something that is not your heart's desire, that you're not worthy, that you're not deserving, because it's a lie. It's a lie given to you by mankind as a whole, and most especially from those who have been around you, whether it be your parents, your other family members, your friends, quote friends, not real friends, your coworkers, your boss, the guy who left you, the woman who deceived you. You have to ignore them and focus on persistence. What to be persistent about. Following what you love. Believing in yourself. Loving yourself. Ignoring what other people think and want. Not caring about another's approval. Persist. Persist. Not giving up when you don't please another with your test score. I think today, oh, come on. What are you doing? And my scorer said to me, Lisa, I know you know it. I know you can't give up. I know you know this stuff. You just have to give us exactly what we're looking for to please us. So I will do that and continue down my path of my calling. Because in this case, in pleasing them, I increase my life's work. Temporarily, by pleasing them, I increase my life's work in service to others. What ultimately is improves my legacy, improves what I want to give to mankind, is a higher vibration, higher work. Persist, persist. How many times have you not passed the bar, not passed a nursing test, not passed a therapist quiz or test? Keep at it if you feel it's what you want, if it's what you're meant to do. Do not give up, because for some reason, God wants to grow you. Perhaps, I know, I don't know why I say perhaps. They know you're going to need that persistence later. They know there's something, some quality that will grow within you with that persistence that will help you to tackle the clients that you will help later, the patients that you will help later, the environment you will find yourself in. They know what they're doing. Perhaps it's not even professional. Perhaps they know that you persisting will help you upgrade your relationship area, will help you upgrade your health. If you want to be on this earth, persist with your treatments of health, persist with your positive mindset, persist with your will, persist. You are made in the image and likeness of your Creator. You are unstoppable. Persist with being unstoppable. You have the power of your mind, you have the power of your will, you have the power of your emotions. Persist, persist. What do you resist? Letting others get to you, following the path that is surrendering to what is not your heart's desire. Just getting the income, pleasing another, waiting until it's better timing, because maybe you're putting the kids first, or something to that effect. It's all right to take baby steps. It's all right to persist in small ways. Resist putting yourself in a negative bubble instead of a positive bubble. Who's your bubble? What bubble are you in? Are you in the bubble that enjoys looking down on people? That thinks you're higher than your fellow man? That thinks that who judges another in a very critical way? We all have a little bit of bias and judgment in us. As I've said to you before in my podcast, it's very easy for me to judge hate and bigotry. However, is your bubble the bubble of hate and bigotry? If it is, you need a new bubble, because that bubble is keeping you down. What's your social media page look like? Is it mostly positive with a little lean here towards something every once in a while? Or are you constantly posting propaganda? Oh, and are you sure of what you're posting is real, is true? Because I have to say that a lot of people who post propaganda think it's truth. A lot of people who are racist don't think they're racist. Be very careful of where you're at. Watch your thoughts, watch your words, watch your feelings, watch your belief, and resist against anything that lowers your vibration, that lowers you into base emotions of hate, bigotry, rage, fear, anger, competition. If you're there in any way, you need to increase and improve your bubble. Resist lower. Go higher. Go higher. It's easy, by the way, to go lower sometimes. You're human, but don't live in that lower vibration place. Resist it. Resist also thinking that there is a black and white way to your happiness. Are you looking at a face and going, it has to be that person? that brings me happiness. It has to be that amount of money. It has to be that outcome. Resist. Because as I said to you, God works in mysterious ways. And there is more than one path to the outcome that you want. And it is so true that what you think will bring you the utmost happiness, heaven has a greater plan in mind a lot of the time, and what is trying to give you greater than what you think you're asking for. So you have to go with the flow, and you have to resist having it has to be this way. It has to be this way. That's why I stepped back and I said, does it have to be this way, Lisa, that you score a passing grade, a good grade? Does it have to be this way? And I thought to myself, I had to step back and ask my intuition, yeah, I'm supposed to get this done. This is it. It's a block, but I have to do it. But make sure that your intuition and your passion and your intention and your calling lines up but what you think you have to have. It will lead to regret later if you don't follow all of that. So try to avoid that as much as possible. But if it does happen, that you still stall your life path by staying in a certain mindset and adhering to a certain outcome, just forgive yourself. Just forgive yourself. Resist thinking that you must only earn your income by being employed. You're in control of your income. You have freedom with that. It does not have to be through being an employee. It can be through being self-employed. It can be through being employed and being self-employed on the side. The road is yours. Never say to yourself, resist. It is not available to me. I am too old, or I am not educated enough, or I am not smart enough. That is all also utter nonsense. What you want, what is your calling, is always available to you. Once again, God works in mysterious ways. You may think that being a mother is beyond what is available to you because biologically perhaps you're 50 or 55 or 60. But then you look back at some point and you realize, I'm a mother. I did not see it come. It was so unexpected. But I'm a mother. Perhaps I'm a mother because of the work I do. Perhaps I'm a mother because I had the opportunity to have to adopt someone, a family member who needs me in that role. Perhaps I'm a mother who has now have to foster a child. I never thought that would be what I would aim for, but now I'm doing it and I love it. Perhaps I find myself in a relationship where I am a stepmother, but I am filling the role of mother because that's what my stepchild needs. God will give to you whatever you ask for if it is your calling. There is nothing, if it is truly yours, that is unavailable. If you really want it, it's yours. Ask and ye shall receive. So resist. Resist the negative thoughts in your mind. Resist the negative feelings. Resist. Resist the jadedness that can come from living on this planet Earth that says that most people are bad and there's only a few good ones. Resist the teaching that was given to you does not make you feel good. Detach, detach. Resist. Resist doing what is following in the footsteps of another just because they are your parent, because it's expected. You create your own unique story. That's why you're here. That's the purpose. Write your own beautiful story. Persist in that. Resist in status quo. If you will try it, you will be amazed. You will be amazed. You should be amazed because you should see at least some changes, whether they're small or they're large, even if you just feel better about your life. Thank you so much for joining me today. The person here who did not know what you would talk about today talked for over 50 minutes. Thank you for giving me this format. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share. And for those of you dealing with Hurricane Laura this week, I give you thoughts and prayers and vibrations of healing, of coming through this. For those dealing with the fires, for those dealing with the pandemic still, we're all tired of it. But it's supposed to grow us. Do not let it jade you. Do not. There is a divine purpose to this pandemic. It is not human, but it requires humanity. For those struggling to make it through in every way, hang in there. Find what to persist in. This is the time. And find what to resist. Remember to go to my website, lisahopp.com. That's LISAHOPP.com. Check it all out. Also, feel free to give me suggestions on what you'd like to hear, what you'd like to see as far as service. If I am not the one to do it, I will directly direct you to where you can get it. Okay? And I mean that in the way of expertise and services and modalities and learning. Reach out. Thank you again. Many blessings.